welcome back to Commerce Close Up. I'm your host, Dr. John Ballotti. I have three guests with me this program. Mark Clayton, who's the City Manager of Commerce, Sherry Johnson, who is our Tourism and Events Coordinator, and Chip Matthews, the Director of Code Enforcement or Code Enforcement Officer. The first segment we began with Mark, and I want to go back to Mark once again at the beginning of this segment. Commerce is kind of, well, we're trying to grow, we're trying to expand, and certainly new businesses. We have a couple of construction things that are going on right now that have been holed over for a couple of years. I'm thinking right now, let's talk about Tipitina's, because we made a big deal about that a couple of years ago, and it's still kind of evolving.
Well, the Tipitina's Foundation is, they contracted with the city a couple of years ago, well, it's been about 18 months ago now, to take possession of the old A.L. Day school building. Local people are usually familiar with where that is, and it was an old vacant building. It had been a school years and years ago, and Roland von Kernatowski, who's the principal for Tipitina's, he takes old buildings and turns them into music venues, recording studios, practice areas for musicians that don't have a place to practice. And that was his vision for that building. And it's progressing. He's done a lot. They've done a lot of work over there. They're not quite up to the schedule we would prefer them to be, but if you drive by the building, it's definitely got a different look from the exterior, and he's working on the inside right now. And we're still really excited. That will be a great addition and a draw to our city once it's completed.
Of course, part of the delay happened because there was asbestos that needed to be abated, and that certainly takes quite a bit of time.
There was some title issues. It was such an old building, and it had been transferred from the city to the ISD years ago, and it was a little bit complicated getting that clear title too. But we did get that, and the Tipitina's Foundation was happy, and we just got a little late start on the renovation. So
let's talk about some newer construction. We've got a new building going in on Highway 24. The Emergency Center is getting close, and we do have a new building that's open, CVS.
Yes, sir.
Took a little while to finally to make those things happen. Can you bring us up to date on those?
Well, of course, everybody that's kept up with the local news here knows that our hospital was tagged to be closed, and the Hunt County Regional Hospital District put it out to the public to sell some bonds to build two emergency facilities, one in Commerce, one in Quinlan. And fortunately, they were successful, and that did take a little while to get the bonds voted in and the preliminary work done. But I did a walk through that building last week. It's an unbelievable building. People are going to be extremely pleased when they see the quality of the facility.
And they call it a 24-hour emergency center, so if I'm injured or sick, I can go there for 24 hours. I have to be able to walk out the next day or go to a regular hospital.
They use it as a staging, examining area, and yes, if you need to be transferred to the big hospital in Greenville, that's what they will do after they deem you necessary to go there.
And CVS had a ribbon cutting a couple of weeks ago.
Really nice store. City staff thinks that that's going to draw other businesses to that area. That's a nice location there on Highway 24 between CVS and the new emergency center. I think that that's going to be a really attractive place for new businesses.
Oh, and I just thought one more thing about the emergency center. It looks like it's ready to go, but it takes about 6 weeks to calibrate all of the electronic technology that goes in there.
In fact, when I was out there, they're calibrating some of the equipment right now. I think their date to open officially is still mid-May. So they're right on schedule.
Good. Sherry, I don't want to leave you out of this segment either. There's a couple of big events that you've been planning for quite some time that are, one of them is not going to happen until November. We'll talk about that in the next segment. What's happening this segment?
Tomorrow, April the 11th, is our artist studio tour. And it's the same idea as a tour of Christmas homes. We have 8 artists who have opened up their studios for people to come and tour them and look at their art and their crafts and purchase art if they want to. The proceeds go to the Hunt County Public Art for art in Hunt County. We have a sculpture that is going to be erected in City Park by David Savannet. So Commerce wanted to get in on supporting the art in Hunt County.
Fundraising.
It's fundraising, and it's to bring in tourism. We're going to have people from Bonham and I believe Dallas and Garland also join us. It's only $10, and you can get tickets at the studios, or you can get them at City Hall today and numerous other locations. We'll have a drawing after each studio at each studio you get a ticket for a drawing for 2 tickets to the Texan Theater, a $700 value.
Great. Mark talked about the music venue, and we've discovered since we've been dealing with Roland and Tipitina's, there's a lot of musicians in the Hunt County area. You talked about 8 artists. That's just a few of the many artists that are available, and probably as this artist tour continues next year will be even larger.
I already have artists asking if they can be on the tour for next year.
And probably what would you say, the crown jewel in your tiara so far would be the Susan Komen ride for the Cure?
That was really unbelievable to get that. Yes, that's November the 14th. And it's Susan G. Komen Ride for the Cure. It's trail rides.
Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in our next episode. Chip, briefly, you had to retrain or train. You have how many new people do you have working for you, code officers?
We do have 2 other staff members that are code enforcement officers that we're tweaking the process some to be more efficient and streamlining our process on abatements.
Okay, good. I'll come back with Chip and Sherry in just a few moments. This is Commerce Close Up. Stay with us. I'll be back in a few moments. Thank you.